Well, that is one way to get around, brother. I remember doing that as kids. We rode all the way from our house to downtown Tulsa via the highway. No, take that back. We rode to the mall, which was only about 2 miles from where we lived. We hopped on the city bus. We used the city bus to get all the way to downtown Tulsa. Rode around down there for hours. There's all kinds of cool little spots to ride bikes around. Now, granted, we're, man, 13, 14 years old, maybe 15, something like that. Teenagers, not driving yet. So probably 12, 13, 14, something like that. And we either didn't have enough money for the bus to get back, or the bus quit running at a certain time, like we were out too late. It was something like that, but we couldn't take the bus back, even though that was the plan. And so, man, we ended up having to ride on the highway because it was the shortest route. So we just rode on the shoulder of the highway. Had to be 10 miles, 12 miles. I mean, that's as kids, so, you know, wasn't nothing for a kid to get around and do something like that, but good times. The Arkansas River, not river, the Arkansas Sandbar. That's what you're looking at there. Water's almost always down. It takes a lot of rain for this thing to actually look like a river. Every now and then they'll let the dam open up at Keystone Lake, which feeds it. But for the most part, it's whenever it rains. They also created, I think, a low water dam somewhere, and that kind of allowed an entertainment area, restaurants and outdoor venues, stuff like that. But I think what it also did is it kind of slowed the water flow down here, downstream a little bit, made it real pretty up there, and made it, you know, a sandbar down here. Yeah, we're still just easing along here though. Now on the west side of Tulsa. Full grown right there, just telling people slow down. Nothing major. I don't know if this old boy is trying to get in here or what, but this gets pretty narrow, especially when you run two trucks side by side. No, he's not getting off, so just gonna hope he keeps it in his lane and we'll keep it in ours. I may have mentioned this, I don't know, but the drive axles on these trucks are wider than factory. They order them wider for more stability, and it makes it a little tough sometimes to navigate and, you know, keep it in your lane. And so we'll get over here and get out of these people's way. It's best to keep in that left lane right there if you're going all the way through, because there's all kinds of slow on ramps and off ramps right there through that construction. Man, they've been working on this interchange right there since I was a kid, so you're talking 30 something years. They get it right and then they tear it apart. They get it right and they tear it apart. Not so much wondering if the state is actually trying to fix anything or just keep cash cowing it, not sure. Well, the GPS is still updating. It went from 3 hours to 1 hour, so maybe it's getting close to being done. It stayed connected this time, so that's been a blessing to get it back into use here. This is a trucker GPS. That's why I'm in favor of running it over, you know, Google Maps or anything like that, because I can put in the dimensions of my truck. I can put in the hazardous materials that I'm hauling, and it will do its best to route me away from areas that, you know, I'm not supposed to be. Now, it's ultimately still always up to me. It's up to the driver to ensure that you're actually driving on the right road at the right time, in the right direction. Don't be one of those people on bonehead truckers, you know, that ends up where they're not supposed to be, jackknifing that thing to get out of there. But just about a mile away from the turnpike. This turnpike will take us all the way to Oklahoma City. We'll have to run through a little bit of city there. no pun intended. And then we'll end up on another turnpike that will take us to Lawton, Oklahoma. And that's where we'll kick this thing off. Got about a half a tank of fuel. Our DEF is almost full. So, need to check tanks actually. That's on the driver's side we're checking right now, which is the smaller of the two. Let's check the bigger of the two. And it's... once it stabilizes, about the same. About the same. So the driver's side tank on this truck is a little bit shorter than the passenger side tank. The passenger side, I believe, is a 150 gallon tank. I think the one on the driver's side is a 100. Might be an 80, might be a 125. Whoa, 45 miles an hour. I'll have to look and see what it is whenever we stop. But there's petcocks on the bottom, and you need to adjust those a little bit based on the pull rate. See, the injectors pull 100% of fuel all the time, and what happens is it returns the fuel that it doesn't need. Well, also on the bottom, on that petcock, if you have them both wide open, they may dispense at different rates. And so the way that you try to get that fuel gauge, because what you don't want to have happen is that left tank empty out before your right, or even vice versa, your right tank empty out before your left, and you end up literally, quote, out of fuel even though you have fuel in another tank. I had that happen before. It was a truck I just jumped into and was taking a corner, and it died in the middle of the freaking corner. The right hand side tank was empty, and the left hand side tank was probably at quarter of a tank. And so had to switch those petcocks a little bit, had to close up the one on the driver's side just a little bit, and because the one on the right side was all the way open, so I had to close up the left one just a little bit, and then just keep priming it and priming it and priming it, trying to get fuel switched back over, and finally got it, and got to take off again. It took me 30-45 minutes to get it fired back up. But yeah, it looks like these tanks are riding right about the same. That one's right about halfway. If you can see, the gauge is right here. This is the fuel gauge, and we're currently sitting on the passenger side, so we'll switch it back over to the driver's side. And it's dipping and it's shaking and it's moving, and it looks like this gauge is reading just a little bit lower than the other, or this tank, the left tank. See that it's pushed down here, and needle is a little bit lower. So we're gonna leave it on that left tank, because that's gonna tell us that tank is gonna empty out first. So we'll use that one as our fuel gauge. And of course, we'll just fill them both every time we fuel. But as long as we're monitoring the one that empties out the soonest, then we shouldn't have any issues. Crossing our fingers. I think somebody's brakes locked up. They had an emergency for sure. Hobby Lobby, he might have a brake fire. He's pulling doubles. Yeah, that is not good.
Oh boy, what's going on here?
Yeah, he's got a brake on fire for sure. One of them locked up, or all I know is I can smell it. I smell brakes. Oh, it's too bad. Hopefully it gets sorted out pretty quick. Get back on the road. Well, we are not quite yet to Oklahoma City still. Just trucking. GPS is doing dumb stuff. I don't know, it's been trying to update this whole time and disconnecting and nonsense. It's probably because I'm mobile. I need to be stationary and let it fix itself. But anyway, we're gonna keep trucking. Still making good time. It's 10:30. Should be arriving down there in Lawton by around noon. So somewhere in there. All right, we're getting off here. Quite a bit of rain across there. But so far so good. Come on. It's starting to dry up down here, which is nice. This product does not like water in the temperature that it is right now. So it unloads through a hose, yes, but you do need to crack your dome lid so that it doesn't make it like a pop can with a straw where it just implodes on itself. This place isn't too bad during this time of day, but man, talk about traffic backups around 4 or 5 o'clock. Lots of people leaving these bases. Obviously, other jobs, etc., but pretty smooth ride down here. We're only, about 15 minutes away. There's actually, I think, a pretty good sized hill over here where they do target practice with artillery. They're constantly shooting into the side of this hill. Every now and then you can hear it. Every now and then you can see them. It's not all that common, obviously, but they come out and do their thing from time to time. Looking forward to getting this off and seeing what's next. I spoke with the dispatcher earlier and they were unsure at the time on whether or not I was going to be able to get a load of propane going north from Ponca City, Oklahoma to Conway, Kansas. They didn't have any loads at this time, so curious to see if anything's turned up from there. There's one of the artillery pieces right there, a trailer. So that's where they, right out there, those mountains and hills and stuff, they'll go out there and have their war games and stuff. Pretty cool place. That's Fort Sill. But yeah, we're kind of in limbo, I guess, until, again, you know, speak to the dispatcher and see what he's got going on. But the plan we thought we had may not exactly go to plan, or go according to plan, rather. May have to make some subtle changes or something. We'll just see once we get this kicked off and see what he's got on his load board. We're looking for 82nd Street, Northwest 82nd Street. Our GPS, it's just having a heck of a time doing its updates. And I think I know what it is. I'm mobile. And so I'm not able to maintain my signal, whether it be from my cell phone using it as a hotspot or my actual hotspot itself. I stopped twice trying to get this thing to do its thing, and it's not having it. It's an 8 gigabyte update, and you know, you think about data sizes, that's not small. And to try to do it over a cellular network, number one, is going to take some time, and even worse if it's spotty. So giving it the benefit of the doubt, I don't even know if I'm going to be here long enough to get that done. It might be one of those things where I can't even get it done until I get parked for the night. So, and that's all right. Again, I know where I'm going on this leg. The next legs, if we do take the Ponca to Conway, I know where I'm going there. The Valley Center stop, that's the one that I'm not familiar with. So that one would help to have a GPS. Now, granted, we can use Google Maps, and it's pretty rural out there, so shouldn't be an issue as far as getting around. I'm not going to find myself on any route that I shouldn't be on or anything like that. Much remember this. It's like 1 or 2 stoplights and we're gonna hang a right up here. Should be a car dealership on the right, I think. Yes, there's one here, but there's more further down. It's where we kind of start getting into town a little bit. Right, so about 2.5 miles and we'll take a right on Lee Boulevard. Be nice for the GPS to work. Y'all be able to see that, see what we're doing. Man, that light was quick. Come on, truck. Yeah, that's the Chevy dealership up there we'll be taking a ride at. All right, we are empty and rolling out of here. It rained so much they're having to actually unload a trailer over there that they didn't get to unload. So there's that. Just spoke with dispatch. They said come on back, so I'm gonna head that way, swap these trailers out, and then head north. I figure just the rain and everything slowing everything down a little bit. So anyway, we're gonna blast on back and see what we can do. I don't know what we're gonna do. I might just have to give the other dispatcher a call here in a little bit once we get up on the big road and get rolling after we get fuel and find out just exactly what they want to do, because this place back here didn't have any loads for tomorrow. Obviously, if they're unloading loads, that means no loads. Granted, there's a certain mixture. It's not just one and the same. They'll make a mixture for a certain road job, and that old boy was over there unloading his because it just rained and rained and rained through here. As we know, we drove through the rain the whole time. So with that, you can't spray that stuff down. It'll just wash it out. So yeah, make a few phone calls and get on down the road here. Well, what I thought was going to happen has happened. Plans have changed. The refineries, you know, once you're carded in, and carded just means credentials, you've gone through their safety orientation, you've loaded in front of them, you know, 3 times is typically the main thing. You load in front of them 3 times, and then you get your credentials, and then you can, honestly, you can come in there 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year, even on Christmas, doesn't matter. Refineries are open every single day. There's somebody working every single day. But there's days that they don't like to do credentials. Typically no weekends, and you're hit or miss on a Friday, okay? Most people on a Friday, they get ready for the weekend, you know, it's not that they do as little as possible, it's just they're just getting caught up on paperwork or whatever, and, you know, they don't want to be out in the heat, be out, you know, just messing with you or whatever. They do an office day, you know, they train Monday through Thursday, they do an office day on Friday. No big deal, I get it. Let's be real, if I was at a refinery, I'd probably do it the same way, all right? But with my situation, trying to get me back to the yard, drop these trailers, or drop this trailer, swap some trailers, all that good stuff. We were going to try to hit some refineries along the way, and two things have happened there. Number one, I'm a little behind in the day where I wanted to be, and not where I should have been. It's trucking's one of those things where, yeah, you can be late, but the reality is things just happen. So they asked me if I go get another one of these for tomorrow. So that's what we gonna do. They close at 5:30 Central Time, and it is 3:20, 3:15, as you can see on the clock on the dash. So I'm not gonna make that, because I'm probably all okay. What's this guy doing? Okay, that's sketchy. I don't blame you at all, big truck. We're gonna turn these lights on here. All right, well, spoke to the missus, and she agrees. We'll do dinner together at my mother-in-law's house while we're still waiting on furniture to be delivered. So, and then she'll take me back to the truck. I'm gonna go ahead and sleep in the truck just because I need to actually get up at the time that I need to get up for this load for tomorrow. I can't do what I did today and not get out of that yard until close to 7 o'clock. I need to get out of that yard at like 5:30. So, and I'll have plenty of time on my restart to be able to get that done. Won't be a problem at all. We're eastbound and down. No load on right now, but we do have another one of these for tomorrow. So like I said, we're gonna go ahead and sleep in the truck, wake up super early, and get after it, so that one of two things: either I can get another load of some sort for the weekend, or be done and ready to go, you know, hang out for the weekend. You know, it's gonna be tough trying to get carted in on a holiday weekend, and I knew that when we were moving down. I knew that. And when the dispatcher came up with this plan for today, it would have worked, except for the refinery that I was going to go load at. They've been having issues, and they sent a lot of their gas on a pipeline downstream, so there's nothing for us trucks to pull from. So what are you going to do? I mean, the propane is unstenched, which means it has no ethyl mercaptan in it. Ethyl mercaptan is what makes it smell like rotten eggs. It's an additive. You know, natural gas, propane, whatever, doesn't have a smell naturally. You have to add it to it. So this gas is going up to caverns that used to be salt mines in Kansas. So when they pull the salt out of the ground, it creates these giant caverns. And what do you do with it? Well, you can put compressed gas in there, which is a liquid, and fill those caverns with it. And when it becomes wintertime, you pull it back out of the ground, you add the ethyl mercaptan to it, the stench, and then you deliver it to customers at that point. And so that's what would go to somebody's home. That's what would go into the propane tanks that are on the back of like forklifts, the propane tanks that are outside of your gas station or your grocery store that you're going to use on your grill, even though you're supposed to use charcoal. That's just me. Yeah, so that's what that's about. So again, right now, it's not that big of a deal that they're not getting it done, because you've got all summer long to pack those storage caverns full so that in the wintertime it's ready to go. lets it in. We're gonna have to shut it down here real quick. We're hazardous. All right. Grab a gear. All right, we're across. Short way to go. You take this left right here, but well, take the left, not right, but take the left there. But it's kind of tight with a trailer, so all right. I think this is us right here. So we're still going to have another railroad crossing to go to, actually. We were going to have that regardless, but this is just a more straight shot. Much easier this way. All kinds of stuff down here. Manufacturing, distribution, warehousing. A lot of stuff comes off of that Verdigris River into this area and then gets trucked out all over the place. It's not quite like your port of entry like, you know, New Jersey or Virginia Beach or, you know, Miami or Long Beach or anything like that. But for this area, you know, we're in the middle of the country. We're completely landlocked. There's quite a bit that comes through here. After 6, that's why we had to go this way. You'll see this gate right here. It says stop and it's closed. But that's only the gate that takes you to the main road out there. That's why we had to go this way and through the front gate. And you have to check in when we left here this morning. When we leave tomorrow morning, we won't even come the way that you just saw. We will go straight down this road right here to that red stoplight you see up the way, and yeah, that's the way we'll leave out. Let's see, 2 trucks, maybe 3. Either way, not too many of them. Not too many of them. Okay. Let's whip this thing off in here. Only 2. It looks like we're gonna have a pretty good parking spot in the back there. It's parking. This angle park with a trailer, it makes things tight when you're next to somebody else. It gets pretty tight. Yeah, that facility right there is one of the places we load. And then the place in Lawton is kind of their other location. So I think they're parking a lot of the bottles in the back. But I'm gonna go ahead and stay hooked up and just park in the back, just because. Because we're staying hooked up, we're leaving early in the morning. I don't want to be fighting anything or anyone. I just want to be ready to ride. We'll stick it in between that soft shell and this hard shell right here. Looks like a good spot to me. Actually, we might go over there. That way we can stay out of that mud. Toast that soft shell. Ooh, I don't like that. I can't see it. We were on an okay course, but we got all this room. There's no reason to take the chance. Come on, get under it. There we go. All right. Now we are cooking with grease. We're gonna try to leave whoever's trailer this is a little bit of room. Take a quick look. We got to get that Glad-hand fixed. I can hear it hissing whenever I'm on the brakes. This is kind of tight. And that landing gear crank is on the wrong side. That's odd. We might move over a little bit. Give him just a little bit more room because we got it. Gives that person just a little bit more room. All right. We are gonna button up our log, button up our paperwork. And wrap this thing up. Thank you so much for joining me on the maiden voyage. I shouldn't say maiden voyage, that was the other day. The first load. Thank you for joining me on the first load. In the truck, back at Acord, doing big things. Be sure to like, subscribe. You can follow me on Instagram, TramJam TV. You can follow me on Facebook, TramJam TV. You can check us out on Twitch, some of the old stuff I used to do. TramJam TV, but the main thing is right here on YouTube. So appreciate you being here with me. Thanks for following. Leave a comment down below or a question if you got any. And again, I'll try to put some links in the description for different things if y'all are interested in different things that you see, different things that I'm using, etc. So anyway, take care. Until next time.